So I had a request when I posted this picture of this Tarte Tarteist, what is this called? The Pro To Go palette. It's like a mini version of the Pro palette. And who said this? Lindsay Reynolds. Could you consider a blog post or a quick Instagram post with how you use them, the colors? I have this palette as well, and the colors overwhelm me a little. You know, I could see that because there are some colors that are pretty saturated. There's Crisp, which is like this kind of a muted orange. We've got, what is this? Dominate, which is kind of a purplish berry. This one is pretty friendly to most. Hype, it's just kind of like a lovely champagne gold. Drive is an awesome transition shade, and that's how I'm going to use it. And Stylin is kind of a cocoa brown. Oh, and Boss. Now this is my favorite one in the whole palette. This is a shadow color that's so pretty you could wear it just by itself. But I'm going to show you how I created this look. Lindsay, feel free to adapt this to your face and your eye shape. But, oh gosh. As I was saying, feel free to adapt it, and it's so little that I'm like fumbling with it, but I love this palette. The Tarteist Pro To Go was kind of like my first foray into the Tarte Pro shadows. I haven't used Tarte shadows in a long time. I mean, back when I worked at Sephora, they did not have this like Pro shadow formula. This is new for them. They have that big Pro palette that looks like super bomb, but I don't think I need any more palettes at the moment, so I opted for this during the Sephora VIB sale because I thought it'd be a good way to try like some of their offerings, get a feel for their shadow formula, and boy was I right. I really love this palette. If you can still get it, I totally recommend it. I think it's beautiful for all eye colors, particularly cooler tone eyes like mine, or if you have blue eyes, because they've got these like warm, juicy, bronzy shades in here, and those just look so pretty. Oh, excuse me, I'm burping. These just look so pretty for cool tone eyes because they create that really striking contrast. So if you want to see how I created this look with the Tarteist Pro To Go palette, just keep watching. Oh my gosh, I haven't said that forever. Okay, so we are starting to look out with Drive. This is a beautiful transition color, and I am applying it to my crease with a crease brush. This is from Terra Mare. You can use whatever fluffy crease brush you want. Just make sure the bristles are somewhat long enough that they can flex and create like that really diffused, buffed out shape. So I am just going back and forth, circular motions, windshield wiper motions, making sure it's really nice and soft. And now I'm going to obviously do the same thing on the other eye. Now that we have defined our crease, we are going to go in and warm it up a little bit more. I really like this for cool tone eyes, so I'm using Crisp, which is that almost orange color, and I am using a Real Techniques blending brush to place it a little more precisely, like right in the crease. And I'm using the same type of motions where I am kind of circular motions to lay it down, and then windshield wiper motions to soften it and kind of blur it out. And you can kind of go by your own eye shape for this. You do want to make sure like that color peaks up above your crease. So just like check with your eyes open and make sure that you can see that warmth peeking up on through. Now I'm doing it to the other eye, and as you could tell, some things went wrong here. I got way too much on there, hence my face. So I'm just using that original crease brush and buffing it out, softening that shape. It got real like patchy and weird looking. And here's where I'm like, oh, I guess we're gonna get it on my lid too. Yep, plans have changed. So I am just adapting, going with the flow, and adding more of the color on the other eye so it looks intentional, even though you guys clearly see that it wasn't. And now we are ready to define the outer crease with Stylin, which is that cocoa brown. I'm using a Makeup Geek kind of a pointed crease brush, and this is going to help control placement. So I am just dabbing it on the outer third, kind of in a little wedge shape, and that's what I always do for outer corner colors. I place it first, and then I use my brush tip to soften and blend it out. I'm bringing it up a little bit. I'm not going to bring that dark color like all the way over into the crease like I did with the other colors. I am just trying to keep it concentrated to the outer third of my eye. So imagine if my eyelid were divided in 3 sections, I'm trying to keep it on the outer third part. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other eye. You want to focus on an upwards motion with this so that when your eyes open, it adds like a little subtle lift. I'm doing this step because I feel like this is really what takes it up a notch. Adding this dark color tends to elevate the look and it makes it look more professional, and I think if you have time, this is a key step. And now for my favorite part, I am going to place the color Boss all over my lid with a flat shader brush. This one's just from a Sephora brush collection, but just make sure your brush is flat and stiff so that you can really pack on that color using like dabbing and patting motions. We're not going to be spreading the color around because this color is so pretty and rich metallic. We want to really build it up so you can see like how bronzy and reflective it is. Now I am going in with Hype, and I'm going to use that to just brighten up that inner corner. This will be helpful if you feel like your eyes are small or too close together. It's going to reflect light and kind of make them seem like more wide awake and a little bit further apart maybe too. And this is a very nice subtle champagne gold. You could use this on the lid instead of Boss if you don't like how dark that is. So just another option. Now I am going back to that crisp color on a very small pencil brush from Makeup Geek, and I am using that to define my lower lash line. I never use eyeliner on the bottom lash line. I just always use a shadow, and I think this really helps to tie it all together, that we have this warmth on the bottom lash line as well as the top edge of our crease, so it looks really cohesive and intentional. Now for mascara, I'm using one of my all-time favorites, Smashbox Full Exposure. This is a little baby one. I don't remember where I got this, but I love it. It still has the full-size brush, which is awesome. So if you haven't tried it and you get a trial size, you can still get a great feel for that big bristle brush, which I love. So this is the finished look. I think this is adaptable to other eye colors and other eye shapes. You know what? If you don't want to do that part where I warmed up the crease with Crisp, don't do it. If you don't like Boss all over the lid and you think that's a little too much for you, pick Hype instead. Keep the lid light. That's the beauty of a neutral palette, that you can kind of tweak things to make it work better for you. Don't just do what I do, because I don't do everything right, clearly. So I hope you liked this tutorial with this mini cute little palette.